Chapter 29. Maverick. I watched as she walked away from me. I wanted to run after and tell her everything, but my legs wouldn't move. My mouth couldn't say anything. I watched the hurt in her eyes, and it broke me to see her in pain. I heard footsteps behind me. I turned around to see Elissa and Harry running towards me. "Alpha, I'm sorry. Let's give her time. She will forgive you. She's hurt right now, considering what transpired between them and what she did. I understand Luna Alyssa right now, but I'm sure she'll calm down. She might be heading home now," Harry said, trying to calm me down. My heart was broken, and I was trembling, but crying in front of my subjects wasn't what I should be doing. "Tell me everything that happened between Alyssa and Elizabeth," I asked him. "I will tell you on our drive home," Harry said, and I nodded. I turned to the direction Alyssa followed, but she was no longer in sight. I knew giving her space for her to calm her nerves would be good for her, and if I should run after her, it would only worsen the situation. So the best was to let her be alone for the time being and wait for her to return home to me. "Go on, Harry. I'm all ears," I pressed him the moment we got into the car. Harry started the story of how Alyssa and Elizabeth were friends from childhood in their pack. Their pack was the weakest, so was prone to attack by rogue wolves. Nobody came to their rescue or helped them in protecting their pack. Everyone thought merging with a weak pack will make them weak, so they all abandoned them in their distress. Elizabeth was the first to lose her parents during the war, and Alyssa's parents welcomed her into their home as their second child. Alyssa's dad lost his life while trying to save Elizabeth from the last attack. Though they managed to escape, Alyssa's mom committed suicide because she couldn't stay away from her mate. He also told me how Alyssa sacrificed her time in protecting Elizabeth and giving her everything she ever wanted, how she saw both of them through school with the help of Roddy, and how jealous Elizabeth was when she found the alpha son having a liking to Alyssa. Elizabeth wanted that attention because before Alyssa and Roddy mated, Elizabeth was already having an affair with him, but stopped having sex because they didn't want to hurt Alyssa in the process. But that didn't stop them from having secret meetings and going out on dates until probably the lust was too much for them to bear that they decided to try it one last time, and they got caught. "That's what transpired between them, Alpha. I didn't know Jemiah was bringing her along. I wouldn't have directed him to this place," Harry said, with regret in his voice. My thoughts were far away. I regretted accepting them into my land, and why I didn't tell her what was wrong. I'm going to make it right when I get home. I will tell her everything she wants to know without hiding anything from her. I just hope it isn't too late for me. Without her in my life, I would be nobody. I stared at the window and watched the trees and grass bending to the wind. I rolled the glass down, allowing myself to feel the breeze and absorb nature, hoping it would calm my nerves. When I got to the pack house, I ran into the room, hoping to find her in the house, but she was nowhere to be found. I searched around the pack and was told she hasn't returned home. By this time, I became agitated and worried sick about her and where she would be. I tried reaching out to her, but her phone wasn't connecting. I tried the Mind Link, but it wasn't connecting. "Fuck this! Lorenzo and Harry, Search everything and bring your Luna home. Don't come back without her." I ordered them, and they all left. I watched as Elsa walked up to me. "You messed up big time, Rick. You should be kicked in your balls and knock some sense into you. I couldn't believe you can be this dull. I hope she doesn't forgive you." "Elsa!" I screamed, surprised at her statement. "I have always warned you to stop trying to play the superhero and learn to not do it all on your own. You have to make it work, jackass, and make sure she forgives you, because you will never find a mate like her." With that, she ran out the door to meet her mate. I stumbled backward, imagining everything she had said to me and hoping I found her soon. Alyssa. "Dad, please, please don't die, please. I promise to be a good girl. I promise, Dad." I pleaded as tears flowed down my eyes, watching my dad in the pool of his own blood. "I'm sorry, Princess. I'm sorry I wouldn't be here to watch you grow into a fine and strong woman. Promise me that you'll take care of your mother and your younger sibling," Dad asked, and I could see a few drops of tears dropping from the corner of his eyes. "Dad, we can both protect them together. It would be difficult for me to do this on my own. Please, Dad." He stretched his hand forward and placed it on my cheek. Then he gently wiped my tears away before replacing them on my cheek. "I'm sorry, love. I have to break the promise of being there with you forever. But I will still be with you in here," he said, pointing to my heart. I held his hand tightly to my chest when I felt a pair of strong hands dragging me away from my dad. "Run, Alyssa! They're coming!" my mom yelled as she held my hand and Elizabeth's too. I turned back just in time to see one of the rogue wolves sticking his hand into my dad's chest and bringing out his heart. "No!" I screamed out of unconsciousness. I jolted up from my sleep. It was a nightmare of my past. I wiped away the tears from my eyes, and I felt all of a sudden a chill, like someone was watching me, and I raised my head to find Justin Clark staring at me. "What the hell are you doing in here?" I asked in shock. "I was sent to come wake you up for breakfast by Rosaline, only meet you here tossing and turning on your bed, crying and murmuring something to yourself. I couldn't understand what's wrong. I was about to wake you up when you screamed. You startled me," Justin said. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to startle you," I apologized. "Bad dream?" asked Justin, and I bobbed my head. "Wanna talk about it?" "It's just some dream about my dad's death. It's not something to talk about. And besides, it's a brand new day. Don't let me spoil your mood. I should freshen up before Rosaline comes, tearing the roof down," I said. He busted into laughter, and then stopped all of a sudden to look at me with a serious look. "You think whatever you say would spoil my mood? Then you know nothing about me. Go on and spill," he said, walking towards the bed and sitting on it. Then he turned around to look at me. I had no choice but to spill everything to him about Elizabeth, my mate, and Harry. That Elizabeth needs to die for the pain she caused you. You should have given her something more than a slap on her face. Something that she would have remembered for the rest of her life," he replied, but I shook my head. I can't do it. No matter how hard she hurts me, I still can't hate her. I still see her as a friend, and my sister that I took care of. I'm just hurt that she could do something like that to me, I said. Don't you think you are becoming weak like that? He asked me, and I shook my head. Nah, it's a sign of being strong. And besides, I won't compete being strong with a family member, I answered. We ended up talking more, and soon got interrupted by Rosaline. Come on, guys, breakfast! I'm starving, she yelled, and we all headed down to the dining hall. I was able to force something down my throat, thanks to Rosaline and Justin. Finally, I was able to tell Rosaline everything. And like always, she told me I have every right to be angry at them, but that I was quick in judging my boyfriend. I should have waited patiently for his explanation. What she said made a lot of sense, but right now, I wasn't planning on facing any of them till further notice. Thanks, Rosaline. You always have the right words to say to me, I replied, giving her a hug. You're welcome. And besides, I need to slap that bitch to death, she said, and we both laughed. Rosaline, please, can I use your house to heal for the next 3 days? And I promise to return home to him. You are very free to stay for as long as you want. My home is yours, and no work today, so we can both relax at home, or go out to have fun, she said. Let's go out. That's a great way to heal from a heartbreak, Justin said, and we all accepted. We decided to go to the park to have fun, and ended the day by watching a movie and having dinner together. Everything is perfect. I have finally found a little happiness, and just as Justin had said, it helped relieve stress, and the burden that was holding me down has reduced a little. I'm glad I have people like Rosaline and Justin to cheer me up, and they know just how to. I had totally forgotten about my pains, the thought of Maverick and Elizabeth, although I knew I would face it back later. For now, I am going to let all go just for today and embrace the happiness and laughter that was surrounding me. The people in my life right now are giving me the joy that will last for some time. But I have this strange feeling that my nightmare is far from coming to an end.
Chapter 30. It's been 3 days since I've been living with Rosalind. Things have returned to normal. I haven't heard anything from Maverick. I would have called to find out from him, but I guess I misplaced my phone. Since I couldn't find it, I used it as an opportunity to reflect on my actions and how badly I treated someone that loves me. Justin was helpful in many ways. He told me of ways of handling Elizabeth, and if I should ever forgive her, I should make her crawl on her knees and beg, while Rosalind lectured me about being a spoiled brat and always running away any time I'm hurt, and that I should consider Maverick's feelings and sit my butt down to understand his feelings. I wasn't that open to Justin about my love life because I felt he would take Maverick's side, so I thought a woman would understand me better, but I was shocked when Rosalind took Maverick's side, and I was even scolded by her too. I guess I've learned my lessons too. Thanks to her, I was able to come to my senses and realize that I wronged Maverick. Like she said, I should consider his feelings too. She's right. I was just too blinded or too selfish to even consider why Maverick was hiding something from me. I just concluded it all in my head that he would hurt me. I realized I needed to stop assuming that everyone is Rhodey. Rhodey was an asshole, while Maverick is perfect. He hasn't done anything to hurt me, and he always has been caring, nice, lovely, and perfect to me, even before we made it official. It has always been my need first before his, and he would go the extra mile just to see me happy. And what did I give him in return? Pain and sadness. For once, Alyssa, stop being a jerk, I warned myself. Rosalind, please, can you excuse me for a moment? I'll be back. I asked permission from my boss, who was busy arranging the shelves and sorting out the expired products to be thrown away. Is everything okay? She asked. Yeah, I'm going to get a new phone. I've decided to call Maverick and tell him I'm sorry. You were right. I was just being stubborn and stupid to not consider how badly I've hurt him. So this is me saying I'm going to turn a new leaf and go call him, I said. She left everything she was doing and ran to me. I was surprised when she hugged me. I'm glad you have grown up. I was scared that you would never get to understand the true meaning of love, hurt, and pain. I'm glad you understand it better. She smiled at me. Will you be able to handle the store alone? Yeah, don't worry about me. Justin will be here any moment from now to assist me. Go on, she said, pushing towards the door. Maverick won't wait that long for you. After thanking her, I ran out of the store. As soon as I got out, I halted a cab that would take me to the Silver Crest pack. I was meant to get a phone and call, but I found myself heading to the place where I belong. When we arrived at the gate of the pack house, the driver was astonished to see a building so cute and big. To humans, the gate was like that of an estate, but nobody would guess how huge it was inside, or that part of it was filled with forest, where the wolves are let out to run freely. I had told him that his family was brilliant to do something that wouldn't make humans suspect them at all. Paying the cab driver, I hurried to the building, forgetting to answer the greetings of the pack members. The only thing on my mind was Maverick, and how to get to him. I was about to open the door when I bumped into a hard, firm chest. Ouch! I raised my head up to see Maverick staring at me. He looked haggard, his hair unkempt. He had bags under his eyes from probable lack of sleep and crying. I felt my heart crumbling. Is he like this because of me? How badly have I damaged and hurt him? I asked myself. I was about to say something when he pulled me into his arms. Thank you, babe. Thank you for coming home. Thank you for coming back to me. Thank you. Thank you, he kept saying. I really did damage to him. I tugged on his shirt tightly, pulling closer to me as I cried more on his chest. Maverick. What I thought would be a joke that she was just trying to play on me for the way I behaved and for lying to her turned out to be a reality when I didn't hear from her or get a call from her for days. Harry and Lorenzo I sent in search of her haven't given me any news of whereabouts. How can someone just disappear from the face of the earth? Is she the daughter of the moon goddess? Was she sent to make me fall in love, with conditions that when I hurt her, she has to take her daughter back? If that's the case, then that would explain perfectly why I haven't seen her, I thought to myself. These 3 days of her absence have been hell to me. I couldn't sleep, eat, or think about anything else. She was so hurt that day, and I could feel her emotions of betrayal and pains flowing through my veins. I wanted to say something to her, but my brain wasn't doing me any justice, and instead of telling her the truth, I ended up saying things I shouldn't have said. When I wanted to let her know why I came without saying anything to her, I couldn't talk or even construct a useful statement. It seemed a cat had cut my tongue off. I just stood there and watched her leave, allowing a pregnant, broken woman to leave without a trace. It's been raining for 2 nights now, and I was scared she would be in the streets, allowing the rain to drench her and her pup. I was afraid their condition would be bad. I had gone in search of her to the place she works, but it was closed. I called Rosalind to ask if she had seen her, because she was the only friend Alyssa has, but she told me she has no idea on her whereabouts, and if something had happened, that would make her leave without a trace like that. I lied to Rosalind that we were cool and that she should call me if she sees her, but since then I haven't heard from her, and my searching was in vain because it yielded no results. That frustrated me and got me really restless, to the point I felt I had nothing left in my life anymore. My second half was gone. I felt empty inside without her. The shrill ringing of my phone startled me from my thoughts, and checking the caller, it was Harry. I prayed deep down that he had some good news for me. "Harry, please tell me that you are calling because you have some good news for me," I asked, trying to control my excitement. I don't want to have my hopes all high and get hurt in the end. "You better get your ass off that bed this instant," came the annoyed voice of Elissa on the phone. "Why are you with Harry's phone?" I asked her, irritated by her voice. She was the last person I wanted to speak to right now. "Well, I'm with my mate, of course, and we've been out here searching for her, and I hope you haven't been sleeping, because I will kick your ass till you drop down dead, and—" "Cut to the chase, Elissa. Tell me what you have for me, and it better be good," I warned her, cutting her short from her never-ending nagging. "Asshole," she muttered to herself. "We found her," she said. "Where?" I asked, jumping up from the bed. "Her workplace? You better not mess this up this time, Rick, and make sure you tell her everything. And stop playing the superhero alone. It's annoying. We're off to rest our ass," she said, and I heard her calling on her mate before disconnecting the call. This is the best news I have heard so far since she got missing. Once I'm done settling things with her, I'll get Rosalind for lying to me and make her pay for it. I hurried to the room we both shared together that I have been avoiding for the past 2 days because it smelled like her, and that room was my weakness. I quickly put on a t-shirt and a pair of trousers. Without bothering to check the mirror to know how I looked, I hurried out of the room. From my pack to her office was a 15-minute drive, so I will be there in no time. Even if it means getting on my knees to bring her home with me, I will do just that, I thought to myself. Getting my car keys from the shelf, I hurried towards the door. As I opened it, I ran into a smaller body, and her pheromones filled my nostrils. That smell I have longed for. Her body I have always wanted to cuddle at night, and her smell I always want to wake up to, was right in front of me. She was about to pull away from me, but I quickly grabbed her and pulled her for a hug, sniffing her and filling my entire system with her smell. The warmth was back on. She was back to me, and all I needed was to make it right. "Thank you, babe. Thank you for coming home. Thank you for coming back to me. Thank you. Thank you," I whispered in her ear. Half of me felt she was going to reject me and demand an answer right away, but I was surprised when she pulled me closer and tugged on my shirt. We remained in the hugging position for a few minutes before I finally broke the hug. "I'm sorry, Rick. I shouldn't have hurt you the way I did. I was just hurt, and I allowed my past relationship to ruin our perfect relationship. I knew you would never hurt me, but I was scared because I felt you would fall for her, as he did, or that she told you lies about me. That was why you both were taking her side. I thought that was why you didn't tell me where you were going. I'm an asshole, and I'm sorry. You can hate me all you want, but please don't reject me because I love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I have reasons why I was angry with her, and I'm ready to tell you everything, but please—" I sealed her lips with mine, shutting her up from every word she was going to say. I knew if I didn't stop her, she wasn't going to stop talking, and she wouldn't give me the chance to apologize and make things right. "I know why you were angry when you saw us together. Trust me, I didn't know she was going to be around. I only came for the beta, and I didn't know about your past until Harry told me everything. And before you blame it on Harry, he didn't know that she was going to be there with Jemiah too. The reason he decided to help Jemiah was that Jemiah helped him and his family escape Rhodey's claws back then, and so he kind of owed him one. Don't hate him. Please, I pleaded, and her mouth dropped open as she rubbed her fingers on her lips seductively. I wanted to abandon the talk and take her with me to the room and show her how much I've missed her, but we needed to talk about this before anything else happened. Why were you in search of Jemiah? What happened? She asked, and I took in a deep breath before explaining everything to her. I told her about the text I saw on her phone from Harry, and how possessive and overprotective I was that I took it upon myself to protect her without her knowledge, and about everything Jemiah told me without leaving out a detail. I'm sorry. I should have told you and not tried to be the hero. I would have lost you because of my stupidity. I apologized over and over again. It's okay. I'm to be blamed too. I should have heard you out and told you about her, but instead I poured out my anger and pains on you. I'm sorry. She asked for forgiveness. I kissed her and told her that I have forgiven her. So, what are you going to do about Elizabeth? Should I kick her out of my land? Whatever you say, I will do it. I don't know. No matter how badly she hurts me, I can't seem to drive her away like that. She's the only family I have left, and I'm the only one she has in this world apart from Jemiah, she said, and I could feel the hurt in her eyes and her voice. You know, you have to face her someday. You both need to talk about your hurts and pains, I reminded her, and she bobbed her head. Yeah, I know. I will schedule a meeting with her the day after tomorrow. Here? Hell no. I'm not allowing her into my pack. I'm not allowing the same mistake I did years ago to happen again. I might still be weak at heart, but my brain isn't, she said, and I laughed. Yeah, I know. Your brain is sexy. So, everything about Elizabeth is settled. Now we are faced with your ex-mate. What's with the necklace Jemiah is talking about? I asked her. I wanted to know everything about her past relationship and why he is obsessed with the necklace. That was the first gift he gave to me when I lost my mom. It had a petal and a special word which was engraved on it. Forever in my heart, Mom, in Spanish. He had it carved specially for me when I lost my mom. He told me that when I wore it and the petal touched my chest, I would feel my mom's heart beating close to mine. I know it was childish then, but I held on to it. So when I was leaving the pack, I returned everything that he had ever given to me. I wanted nothing from him, but I guess my pup is the only thing of him I had left with me, she said, rubbing her stomach. Damn. I feel disgusted that each time he makes those Omegas wear the outfits he brought for you and have them wear the necklace and make their hair like yours when banging them, pisses me off. It makes me think of some nasty and dangerous thing I would want to do to him when I get my hands on him. But first, I'll make sure to burn down everything that has to do with you in his possession and has your smell on it, I said, clenching a fist. I felt relaxed when her hands held my clenched fist. He can make a fool of himself, thinking he is screwing me, but he isn't, because right now I belong to you and you alone, and you have to promise me one thing. Anything, love. Anything you want from me, I would do it. Don't you ever hide anything from me again. I'm not a weakling, and I can fight some cowards when it comes to that. As long as we are both together, nothing, and I mean no one, can win against us. So promise me. I promise you that I will tell you everything and not try to play the hero again, I promised her. She brought out her pinky fingers, and I did the same, connecting them together while we used our thumbs to seal them. We both laughed at our childish behavior. Thank you for giving me another chance. Thank you for accepting this stubborn and spoilt girl back into your life. You are my stubborn and spoiled baby, and I wouldn't trade you for anything else." One thing led to another. We were both locking lips, and I carried her in my arms as I rushed towards the bedroom to make her feel how badly I had missed her. I was ready to savor every cent of her and make her feel how she meant the world to me. Without her in my life, I doubt I will forever be complete. She is my universe and my other half, and from now till eternity I will always love her and cherish her. Her moans were like music to my ears as I thrust in and out of her, placing kisses all over her neck and face as she moans my name, and all I could say was, "I love you," over and over again until I exploded my seeds into her. Chapter 32. Unknown POV. A month before the location of Alyssa was discovered, and after it was discovered. "Track her down. Call me when you find her and tell me her location. This will cancel the debt you owe me," Alfarodi had said, and I was excited that soon I would be a free person. I would no longer owe him anything for saving my life and giving me a home when I was destitute and had no control over my wolf. I left the pack in a hurry in search of the woman in the picture he had shown me. Though I was attracted to the pretty damsel, my freedom mattered to me most. I have searched so many places, and she wasn't anywhere to be found. It was like she doesn't exist in this world, or she was dead, and I thought of giving up because I concluded that she was dead. The living has no business with the dead. I made up my mind to run away to a far place where Alfarodi wouldn't find me. Then I will renounce every bond holding me to the pack and be free. The growling sound of my stomach pulled me out of my thoughts. I remembered I haven't had anything to eat since yesterday morning, and now my ear couldn't bear the grudging sound of the worms fighting for food in my stomach. With a loud hiss, I pulled close to the convenience store I always patronized whenever I came visiting. I love this store, and I preferred to get my things from here because the commodities were at a cheaper rate. Entering the store, I went straight to where the cup noodles were arranged. The Korean noodles were my favorite noodles, and I wouldn't trade them for anything else. I collected as many as possible before walking to the counter and pressing the bell. I heard a lady's voice. It was different from the owner's voice. My jaw dropped open when I saw the lady walking towards me. It was the same woman in the picture Alfarodi gave me to track. Her smile was welcoming and inviting. She was about to head towards me when the owner of the store called her in to do something. "Hey, it's been a while since you came to town. Is everything okay with you?" asked Rosalind. "Yeah, I've been fine. Just running one or two errands," I replied, looking around to see if Rhodey's missing sweetheart will come back. "She is taken," Rosalind said, and I choked on my saliva. What? No, it's not what you're thinking," I managed to say. "Yeah, I know. That's what all the guys that have seen her here always say," she chuckled. "When did she arrive here?" I asked her. "Well, about a month ago. She is a hard-working one, I tell you. I see you haven't given up on noodles. You need good food, you know. Eat healthily," she scolded me. "I will when I'm less busy. Thanks, Rosalind. I'll be heading out," I said, taking a final glance at where she came out from as I took my leave. "I should introduce you to her," she called after me. "Maybe some other time. Later, woman." I waved her goodbye before exiting the building and heading straight to my car. I knew if I was to call Rhodey that she would hear the conversation, since she has a good sense of hearing. I entered into my car and drove off. When I got home, I picked my phone to deliver the message to Rhodey. "I thought you hate the jerk. Why do you want to report back to him?" came Zach's voice. Zach is my wolf, and he doesn't like Rhodey for the tiniest bit. Because I think it's the right thing to do. He is my alpha, and it needs to be done, I replied to him. Dummy. He is not your alpha. The one who saved your life and turned you into a werewolf is your alpha. Your sire is not Rhodey, but him and him alone. Think about it, Zack said. I still have to do it. I still have to report to him. It's an order. Then watch and observe her. See if she is worth reporting to Rhodey. Get to know her, he challenged me. Fine. I will watch over her for some time and blend into her life. If I see no positive reasons to keep the information to myself, then I will report back to Alpha Rhodey. Deal, he says cheerfully. I did exactly what Zack told me to do. I had tailed her, making sure to know her schedules, and got the opportunity to be introduced to her. She wasn't as bad as they painted her to be. She is actually calm and easy to deal with. I never knew I would be falling deeply for her, and wanting to have her for myself, even if it means backstabbing Rhodey and claiming her for myself. I was going to go to the convenience store today to get my normal cup of noodles when I saw her hurry out of the store and stop a cab. I immediately hurried back to my car and followed her till we got to an estate that had the stench of wolves. This must be a pack, and I have to be careful not to get caught. I enhanced my hearing ability to listen to her footsteps and where she was going. No. Alpha Maverick is her mate. This is the Silver Crest pack that everyone has labeled as one of the strongest packs in the world, and she is the Luna of the pack? I should be running away, but I found myself eager to know more. Soon, the sound of them moaning filled my ears as I clenched my fist in anger. My first target would be Maverick, and I will make sure he will be the first I hunt down, too. When I'm done getting rid of him, then Rhodey will be next. When I'm done with terminating all of them, I will take Alyssa as mine. My name will be the only word coming out of her mouth when I'm done with her. Chapter 34. Elsa had woken to Harry's arm wrapped around her. She knew it was time to leave, but first she had to clean herself up. She sneaked to the bathroom, grabbing his long-sleeved shirt from the couch. She slowly tiptoed to the bathroom. Elsa enjoyed everything they did last night, or rather all through the night. She loved how gently he was all through their lovemaking, until the last round of sex, when she had told him to be a little hard since she was no longer feeling the pain, just pure pleasure. They ended up having sex 5 times before his heat was gone, and they both collapsed on the bed. Elsa was now scared. She didn't think of the aftermath before diving in to help him with his heat. What would his reaction be when he wakes up? Would he ignore me or hate me for what I did? Or will he drive me out of his room and shut me out of his life forever? Or will he embrace me and kiss me, telling me that it would be okay? These thoughts kept lingering on Elsa's head as she turned on the shower to clean herself up. She had made up her mind to leave his room the moment she was done with cleaning up, then take a cab back home to avoid him. It's better this way. I'd rather avoid him than hear those hurtful words from him. Wearing the white long sleeve, which was immediately damped because of her wet body, the shirt was completely wet and sticky to her body, exposing her boobs, which were now transparent for others to see. She slightly opened the bathroom door, and she was startled when she noticed Harry lying on his side, his hand on his jaw, supporting his head as he stared at her. "Good morning, Elsa," Harry greeted. But it only made her gulp down some saliva when she noticed Harry was still naked, with nothing covering him. Her gaze fell on his rigid body and slowed down to his member, which was hard, and she gulped again. She couldn't believe all that went into her body last night. He was massive, and built perfectly. "Are you done having your fill of my body?" he asked, when he saw that she hadn't returned his greetings. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have stared at you so long, and I'm sorry also for making you uncomfortable," she managed to say, and a grin escaped his lips. She walked up to where their clothes were littered all over the ground, and she started picking them up one after the other. "What do you think you're doing?" Harry asked, staring keenly at her. Picking up my clothes and going to my room. We should be leaving any moment from now. It's a new day, and your Luna might need you," she answered. "I see. That's true." Harry nodded. She sighed in relief that Harry accepted her answers, and he was going to let her go without saying a word about last night. Another part of her felt bad, that he was just letting her leave without talking about it, even if it was a part of it, about the mind-blowing sex they both had last night that left them completely exhausted and drained. "Are you going to leave this room dressed like that? Are you trying to put yourself in danger?" asked Harry, gulping hard before pointing at what she was wearing. Her gaze slowly drifted away from Harry and went down to what he was pointing at to enable her to understand what he meant, and she gasped when she saw that she was half naked. She quickly covered her body with the clothes she was holding and apologized to Harry. She was about to run back in the direction of the bathroom when Harry grabbed her hand and pulled her towards him. She could feel his firm chest on her back and also his hard member pressed against her butt. Her body became stiff on his touch as Harry rubbed his hands up and down her arms before turning her to face him. "I told you, or rather, I asked you last night if you needed this, and you said—" "I said yes. Why? What's wrong? Are you regretting it now?" she asked, cutting his words out of his mouth. She prayed silently as part of her wish that he shouldn't say that he regretted it or reject her to her face. "No, but you are making it seem awkward. You make it seem like doing it with you was awful, a complete disaster and failure. I never wanted this awkwardness between us. So please, return to Elsa that I know, not this," Harry said, and his voice lowered. There was hurt in them, and she could feel it. She wanted to be sure Harry needed her and loved her. She didn't want to be his sex buddy to help him in need. She wanted to build a home with him, a family filled with love and happiness. She felt her legs were off the ground, and Harry's hands gripped and lifted her up and slowly placed her on the bed. "I have been thinking a lot about you, about us, and about what we did last night. And I'm not about to beg you for us to act like friends because friends don't touch, kiss, or make love like the way we did," Harry said, and Elsa giggled at the way he explained himself. "So, what are we if not friends? Is it friends with benefits?" she asked, and Harry shook his head. "More than that. We are much more than that. The chemistry between us is amazing and hard for us to resist, or too hard for us to resist each other, and this was bound to happen eventually." "So, what are we now? Are you going to hate me later in the future, and eventually one day you would pretend that neither of these happened?" Elsa asked, and he shook his head again, the 4th time in a row. "What we did last night was great, and I love every part of it. There is no way in this world would I hate you or pretend that this didn't happen when it currently did. But all I'm asking is for you to give me some time for me to end things with Mia, and then I will be yours," Harry said, as he leaned closer to her. She quickly closed her eyes, and her mouth brought forward in a pout, and Harry laughed out. "Did you think I was going to give you a kiss?" Harry asked, and Elsa's eyes flung wide open as she stared blankly into his eyes. Harry would be telling a huge lie if he had said that he didn't want to devour the sexy lips of Elissa. She is one of a kind. She had helped him overcome his heat, saved him from hurting himself further, and she had to lose her virginity to him just to relieve him of the pain he was feeling. What more could he ask for? A mate who puts her second half's needs first before her needs are worth keeping, Harry thought to himself, and was brought back to reality when Elissa pushed him away from her and stood up from the bed while fanning herself. Harry moved his hand forward and intertwined them together, with the hand Elissa was using to fan herself, and slowly he drew her back to the bed. He pressed his body to hers, and she squirmed beneath him. He leaned closer and placed a soft kiss on her lips. His nose brushed hers before inhaling her. The scent of after sex still lingered on the bed, and the smell of his soap on her aroused him, and he wanted to have her again. Her body was covered with hickeys that he gave her, and that made him smile, though that wasn't his intention. Guess Jexley was out of it this time around, he thought to himself, while he trailed his hand along the red spots on her body. But still, they made him want to have her again and again, until neither of them could walk. Harry let out a soft and happy chuckle when Elsa's hands roamed his bare skin. She seemed to have read his mind, and she was excited and hungry for more, too, and he promised to fulfill both their urges and desires. Her hands seemed to have awoken his member, which was twitching for some action, and Harry couldn't resist it any longer as he smashed his lips rightly on Elsa's lips. He wanted to be the real Harry, and not Harry on heat. He was going to devour her slowly, patiently, and make her moan his name non-stop. His kiss was slow, warm, and filled with love, passion, and pure bliss. Harry's hand braced over her breast, and her nipples responded happily as they grew hard due to excitement, and they waited patiently to be sucked on. Slowly, he began undoing the buttons of the sleeves she was putting on, without breaking eye contact with her, which made Elsa blush beneath him. Finally done with the buttons, his hand cupped her boobs that had been begging to be touched and sucked on, and she moaned. Harry smiled. He was glad his touch could affect her, and his dreams of having her over and over again to his fill were slowly coming to reality. He was about to devour her when he felt a sharp pain in his chest. "Ah!" Harry growled out in pain, clutching his chest, and Elsa quickly held on to him tightly as he fell on the bed. Mia, Harry growled, his eyes painfully brimming with tears as he felt his mate mark burning hot. "What's wrong, Harry?" Elsa asked in a panic, watching as the Gamma squirmed in pain. "The bond. Mia is... Mia, the mating bond is..." Harry stuttered as the pain increased again. Elsa held on tightly to Harry as the Gamma showed signs of wanting to shift. Elsa tried to pin him down as she was confused at what was going on. "Harry, if you don't tell me what's going on, how will I be able to help?" she asked as the Gamma kept squirming in pain. "Mia, she's dead. The mating bond is breaking and I can't. Hold on, and I will make it go away," Elsa said, as she ran to where her phone was, and she quickly placed a call to the pack's doctor. Her eyes never left Harry, as the Gamma's claws were doing justice to the bed. "You need to help him, Elsa. If you don't, he might end up dying alongside his mate," the pack doctor said. "Help him how? What should I do? I don't know what to do," she said, her voice breaking down. "Mark him. Your mark will overshadow the existing mark, and he will be okay. Elsa, You have to be fast about this. Good luck, he said, before ending the call. Throwing the phone away, she hurried back to where he was lying, and she tried everything possible to avoid him from harming her by avoiding his hands and legs. Calm down, Harry. I will make this go away soon, Elsa said, as she climbed on top of him, placing his member into her pussy. She had read so many times that during sex, mates would be able to mark their mates, and this was the only way. She could be able to save him again, and she reminded herself that she was saving Harry and that this was not for the fun. And when she felt his orgasm building up, she quickly elongated her fangs and sank them deep down on his neck, placing it right on the mark he once had with his ex-mate. Slowly, his breath was returning back to normal, and he flipped her over before entering her again. She felt a sharp pain on her neck as his fangs sank deep into her, giving her his mark and making her his alone. She could finally feel the spark building up, and finally, she was able to feel his emotions, his love, and his feelings towards her. I'm crazy in love with Harry Walter, and I can't wait to build a home for him, she thought. Chapter 35. Seriously, will you calm down, woman? Jemiah yelled at Elizabeth, who was pacing around the room, talking to herself and biting her nails. It's been 2 weeks, Jer. 2 fucking weeks, and we still haven't heard a single word from them, and you expect me to be calm? She walked over to where Jemiah was sitting and squatted in front of him. This is Alyssa, for goodness sake. Did you see the fire in her eyes? She is out to kill me. Her eyes show so much hatred for me, and you expect me to be calm? We should get out of here. We should leave while they're distracted by goddess knows what. Leave? To where? Huh? This is the safest place for us right now. You, of all people, should know how cruel and hateful Rhodey is. He doesn't give a second chance. Do you think he would welcome us with open hands while we walk back to the pack to meet him? Jemiah asked. We could trade for our lives and safety. Trade? With what? She fumbled with the tip of her hair before getting up to sit beside her mate. We could trade information about Alyssa to him and then beg him to grant us freedom. You know how obsessed he is with her and how he would do anything for him to get... Stop, Jemiah yelled. What the fuck? For fuck's sake, Elizabeth, can you hear yourself out? You should be fucking sorry that all your life you have been nothing but a pain in her ass. You should be thinking about how to mend things up with her after destroying her first chance of love. You should be apologizing to her and not here thinking of how to snitch on her again with a bastard that locked you up and used you as a sex machine. Do you even have a conscience to be remorseful for once? Jemiah screamed at her face. He was furious about how pathetic she was and how foolish her words were. I'm only trying to look out for us. If we get driven out of this place, we will still be at the mercy of Rhodey, and our lives won't be spared either. So why not risk it? I don't care about Rhodey or anything. Didn't you learn shit from your past experience? Isn't that enough for you to think well for once? Fuck, how the hell did I end up with you? Jemiah murmured to himself as his hand kept ruffling his hair. Don't say that about me. You don't know a single thing about what happened to me. You don't know the hell I have been through, all the hurts I have been through in my entire life. You also don't know Alyssa. She would never forgive me because what I did to her is unexplainable, but I had my reasons. If only she could listen to me. I was only a victim of love, yelled Elizabeth. Victim of love? Really? How? Jemiah asked. She betrayed me first, and I took what belonged to me. But nobody would listen to my side of the story, and what you all did was to paint me the bad bitch. You are talking in parables, Lizzie. Mind explaining in detail for me to understand what you're saying? Honestly, I'm damn confused, Jemiah said, as he walked closer to her. She was about to reveal everything to him when the buzz on her phone distracted her, and she picked the phone up from the bed. Checking who the message was from, she froze, and the phone fell off her hand, startling Jemiah, who quickly picked up the phone to see what startled his mate. "I have decided to meet with you and hear you out. Whatever you say will determine whether I should forgive you or hate you forever, if I should allow you to stay or cast you out. So choose your words wisely before coming to see me today. I will be expecting you. The train is faster. Be here by 4 p.m. Silver Crest." The message came with a passcode they could use at the pack's gate to allow them access to the pack house. Checking the time, it was 10 a.m. If they should start leaving now, they would arrive at the destination before 4 p.m. to determine their fate. "Grab a few clothes so we could get going. We have to arrive there on time," Jemiah said, packing a few clothes in his bag. "Huh? What? Are you saying you want us to go meet her, like, right now?" Elizabeth asked, and Jemiah nodded. "That's what the message says. You wanted to redeem yourself and tell her the reason you acted the way you did. What other way do you have to get the Luna to sit down and listen to you? Now is a perfect time. I will get your things for you," Jemiah said, hurrying to pack some clothes, and, pulling her hand, they both headed out of the room, towards the station to board the train. "I have finally decided to meet with you and hear you out. Whatever you say will determine whether I should forgive you or hate you forever, if I should allow you to stay or cast you out. So choose your words wisely before coming to see me today. I will be expecting you. The train is faster. Be here by 4 p.m. Silver Crest." Alyssa kept staring at the message she sent to Elizabeth. She couldn't believe that after all these times, she still had Elizabeth's number stuck in her head. No matter how hard she tried to erase it, it was still fresh, like she had registered it in her brain yesterday. After much push from Maverick, she finally decided to send Elizabeth a message to listen to what she had to say. A good explanation as to why she betrayed her and stole something she once valued dearly, and another part of Alyssa wanted to thank Elizabeth for breaking their trust and betraying their friendship, because if she hadn't done that, she wouldn't have met Maverick and fallen in love with him. "Do you think I made a mistake by sending her that text message?" asked Alyssa, as her eyes were glued to the phone, reading every sentence, word by word. Maverick couldn't help but laugh at his mate. Her expression was priceless, and he loved every bit of it. "No, love, you didn't make any mistake. You did the right thing, and I'm proud of you," Maverick replied to her, wrapping his hands with her as he slowly retrieved the phone from her. "I should cancel it and send her a message that it was a mistake," she said, trying to grab the phone from him. "You would do no such," Maverick whispered. "What should I do now?" she asked. "Now we wait for them to come to us, and then you will listen to her and find out why she behaved the way she did. There might be a reason," Maverick said, patting her back. "I still don't feel it's the right thing to do. I just want to cancel the meeting and what, Lissa? Drive them out of the pack for Rhodey to find them? If you don't care about Elizabeth, consider your once loving pack member Jemiah. Welcome him, just the way you welcomed Harry and his family." "Harry is different. Harry is my family," Alyssa said, trying to justify herself. "Come on, babe. I know you will handle everything well. I believe in you," he said, pulling her over to him and then placing soft kisses on her neck, which made her relax a little. It was 4 p.m. when Harry knocked on their door, telling them about the arrival of Elizabeth and Jemiah, gulping on her saliva and adjusting her dress as she walked hand in hand with her mate to meet them. When she got to where they were seated, Elizabeth stood up hastily, her hands fidgeting as she stared at Alyssa. "Good evening, Alpha." "Good evening, Luna," they both greeted. "Jemiah, walk with me. Give the ladies time to talk," Maverick said to Jemiah, who nodded as both of them walked out of the room, leaving the two ladies to their fate. Hi, Elizabeth stammered. Hi. How are you doing? She asked. I'm okay. Can we cut the formalities and just get straight to the point? Alyssa said, not wanting to spend another moment with her in the same space. Fine. If that's what you want, then I will get straight to the point. I didn't steal Rhodey from you. You did. You betrayed our sisterly love first, and all I did was take back who you stole from me. Elizabeth spoke out in a calm voice, which startled Alyssa, who was shocked at what she'd just heard. I'm sorry, but what do you mean by that? Are you joking or what? What do you mean by I stole Rhodey from you? I thought you came here to apologize, but I can clearly see you came to declare war, Alyssa yelled. That's your problem, Lissa. You don't fucking care to listen to me, and all you do is to raise your shoulder and remind me of how much I'm a burden to you. You don't care or try to understand how much I have been through all this while. What? When did I ever make you feel that you were a burden to me? I never did that. You have always been my little pretty sister that I value more than anything else, Alyssa said, and Elizabeth scoffed as she walked to where Alyssa was standing. They were a few inches from each other when Elizabeth leaned closer to her. Every time, and even now, I remember when I was trying to tell you about Rhodey, but you were so engrossed and so in love that you didn't even care to listen to me. If you had, all this wouldn't have happened. We wouldn't have had a rift between us. I always listened to you. Now tell me, when didn't I listen to you? Asked Alyssa. You have never listened to me, but it's okay. I grew up to understand that's your kind of person, but I wasn't going to allow you to take someone I love with my heart and who promised me everything in this world and watched as you stole him from me, knowing very well that he was mine right from the start, Elizabeth said. Make me understand, Lizzie, because I'm not getting anything you are saying right now to me. I'm being accused of something I know nothing about. Fine. If you want to keep playing the victim card, I will refresh your memory. Remember when I told you about a guy? We both fell in love with each other, and we both planned to marry each other and live happily with each other when we were of age? I got pregnant then for him, and you advised me to keep the pup, but I had to go ahead with his decision because it wasn't time and we were still young. You remember being with me through all the night as I cried over the loss of my baby? Elizabeth asked, and Alyssa nodded. Good. The guy was Rhodey. Alpha Rhodey. Oh, no, Alyssa exclaimed as she staggered backward. The news was too hard for her to handle. She felt cold shivers flowing through her body. Yes, Alyssa, Rhodey was the guy. He was mine and mine alone until you came along, and I got angry when you told me you were dating him. And soon you both were going to be mated. You betrayed me, and I felt hurt that you would go after the person I fell in love with after the story I told you about. You told me the story, but you never gave me a name. Rhodey and I became close after my mother died. If you had told me his name, I wouldn't have gone close to him. I wouldn't have dated him or had anything to do with him. You should have told me something when you saw that we were getting close. I thought you knew, Elizabeth cried. I thought you knew and decided to hurt me. Oh, no, I wouldn't dare do such a thing. I would never hurt you because you were precious to me. I'm so sorry if I have caused you pain in any way. I'm sorry, Alyssa apologized. She didn't know the table was going to turn against her. She had been holding a grudge against Elizabeth for so long without knowing the truth behind her actions. And now the truth was out of the bag. Both found out that they were in the wrong. They were both getting angry at each other for a crime neither of them knew about, and the real culprit who played them was Rhodey. Rhodey and Elizabeth were dating for a long time during their high school days. She got pregnant for him, and he emotionally blackmailed her into getting rid of the pup, saying they were both too young to have a baby and that when they were both 18, he would mark her and claim her, but due to the circumstance, they both happened to be in the same pack. Rhodey was no longer interested in her. His attention was caught by the fragile Alyssa, who lost her mom. He decided to be close to her, helping her through her hard times, and soon Alyssa found herself falling for him. And she thought fate was on her side when both of them ended up being mates. She thought the moon goddess brought him into her life to wipe away the sadness and pains of losing her mom. Soon after their mating and marking rituals, his attitude became cold towards her, not knowing the reason, but now everything has become clear to her. She was just being played by Rhodey, both her and Elizabeth. Right now, she has realized Rhodey only needed her because of her experience in work and things related to it. "I'm sorry, too." Elizabeth's voice brought her out of her thoughts. "I should have told you about it. I should have known you'll never hurt me. I guess I was blinded by hurt and jealousy. Can you please forgive me?" she asked. Seeing neither of us knew that we were being played, "I forgive you, Elizabeth. But it's going to take a long time for me to trust you again. I trusted you once, and you broke me. I have to take time to be able to trust again, as I said I did before," Alyssa said, with her hand stretched out towards her. "Yes, I understand, and I am deeply sorry once again, and thank you very much for at least forgiving me. I should have opened more to you." They both hugged each other, planning their next steps of hurting Rhodey more than he hurt them. Chapter 36. Alyssa. It's been a week since Elizabeth told me her reason for hurting me, and how sorry she was. Though I had forgiven her, I couldn't hold her close to my heart as I always did before now. I've been more careful around her. Yes, we both got played, but I made it clear to her that I wouldn't be able to give her accommodation in my pack, but she and her mate could retain the place Harry got for them. She was a bit shocked when I told her that I wouldn't allow her into the pack, but she understood that no matter what, she would always be the girl who hurt me. But deep down, she will always be the sister I grew to love. In the meantime, I needed to study her more and get to know her better, and I hope, someday, we will get to be close again, once I am able to trust her. That's if another situation were to occur and she wouldn't betray me again. She had given me some information that a spy was sent to look for me, and with the way Rhodey was acting lately, that soon he would find out where I was, and she advised me that I should avoid going out in the open, where it would be easy for him to find me, and even if I was to go out, I shouldn't be alone. I thanked her in return. I watched as she and her mate left the pack's gate. "You did the right thing, dear," Maverick said behind me, wrapping his hand around my waist. "At least she knows you never betrayed her, and her conscience will prick her more." "You think I did? Wasn't I too quick in forgiving her?" I asked him, and he shook his head. "You did the right thing. Now you won't have that hatred for her anymore. You can focus on more good things now, and you won't be worried about it. You did right, girl." Maverick was right in a way. He was right about me not going to think about Elizabeth and how she stabbed me. I was free from that. One problem solved, and the main one to focus on was Rhodey. How do I keep the baby away from him without him finding us? With the information from Elizabeth on Rhodey and how obsessed he is about me and how desperate he can be, I knew sooner or later he would definitely find me, and when he does, he doesn't care what might happen to me or the people around me. He could kill anyone to get to me. Since this child is meant to be his heir, sacrificing everything to get to his heir would be the least of his problems. I turned around to look at Maverick, who was trying to prepare something for dinner. He had ordered the Omegas to leave because he had a surprise for me. I smiled when he told me to give him a few minutes, and dinner would be ready. Everything is perfect right now. But what would happen if Rhodey should attack him? His pack was peaceful without me. I won't be the reason why they have to go to war. I must find a way of protecting his pack and end everything without spilling blood and losing lives. I have to leave sooner or later. There is one place that could resolve the whole issue, which is the Werewolf Council. If I run to them for help, they would be able to assist me. But Maverick won't allow me to go to them. He'll say I should trust him and allow him to handle the case. I really want to stay, but if we have to go his way too much, blood would be shed. This time, Alyssa, you have to protect the ones you love. You have to protect your pup, your mate, and your pack. You are strong, and nothing should make you weak, I said to myself. Hey, babe, we've been invited to a ball. I got your clothes ready, Maverick said, startling me. What? When did you do that? I asked him. When you went for a checkup at the PAX hospital, he answered. Thanks, love, but I doubt you will be able to get my perfect size. I have added in weight, and my boobs seem to have gotten bigger, I said while touching them, and he smiled. You are my mate, and the one I cherish, so of course I know you have added some weight, and it isn't your fault. Little pup here is eager to come into the world, Maverick said, leaning downwards to kiss my stomach, which was no longer flat like it used to be. I ran in excitement to our room to check out the clothes he had ordered for me. They were 3 gowns. The first dress, a gorgeous ruby-red princess ball gown with an off-shoulder sweetheart neckline detailed with flowers, covered in detailed, stunning flower embroidery and beadwork. Second dress, a delicate rose-pink A-line gown with a floral overskirt. Soft, opalescent flowers are scattered throughout, with more gathering at the waist and hemline. This dress features a low back and a train. Third, a gold, floor-length bodycon dress, with a high slit up the left side, exposing the top of her thigh, shows off a pair of matching strap-put heels. The corset bodice and the matching elbow-length gloves give the dress a classy look. A short train, along with the slit, lengthens the legs. This, along with the waistline hitting the natural waist, really brings out the wearer's assets, if worn correctly with the perfect heels. They were all beautiful, and difficult for me to pick. There was a note written on the red dress, which reads, I have found the one that completes me, my reason for my existence, and the one which makes my heart flutter when I am close to her. Always be mine forever. P.S. If you are finding it hard to pick a gown, pick the red gown. It would look magnificent on you. I held the card close to my heart and wished for things to remain the same forever. But who am I kidding? As long as Rhodey is out there, there would always be that nightmare that wouldn't stop recurring until I handled the situation. But for now, I will wear a happy face and have fun, go to the ball with my mate, and dance till my legs can't hold my weight anymore. Today makes it the 4th month I have been living with Maverick, and I have become one with his pack. Today is the day we're going to the ball. I dressed up in the red dress Maverick chose for me, had my makeup done and my hair styled by a professional. Soon we were on our way to the location on the invitation card. Maverick hasn't been able to stop the praises of how beautiful and elegant I look in the dress. I wasn't able to put on the red heels he bought for me because someone wanted the pup to be in good shape and had called the pack doctor, who told him to forbid me from wearing heels I wanted to wear. And we later settled for not too high heels. My baby bump has become a little visible when you are close to me, and you can see them much better. Both Maverick and I couldn't wait to meet him or her. He had already decorated one of the rooms and turned it into a baby's room. I was introduced to all the top alphas present there by my mate. Although I was happy to be in a place like this, my eyes kept scanning the room, since this place was filled with alphas and their mates. A part of me felt that Rhodey would be here somewhere, and I needed to be alert in case I bumped into him. Soon the dance floor was declared open, and I was led to the dance floor as the place was crowded with alphas and their mates having fun and dancing to the beat of the music. I decided to unwind and just give in to the feel of the music and dance to my heart's content. I only get to enjoy this day if I have to go to the werewolf councils and end this, so today it's all about my mate and me. Despite all these, I still feel uncomfortable. I felt like I was being watched, but maybe it was my hormones playing a fast run on me, so I had to erase the thoughts from my head and just enjoy the music. Unknown to me, I was right. Someone was watching my every move.